Alright, we're going to simplify this exponential expression. Unfortunately, or fortunately, it has fractions, which is going to make it a bit harder, but we're just going to use some of these rules on the right here. The first thing I'm going to do is employ these two properties of exponents. And what that will do for me is let me multiply each of these exponents inside the parentheses by this exponent of 5/6 on the outside. When I do that, what I'll obtain on the top here is this x to the first, y to the -1, and then I get 5/6 times -2/5, which would give me an x to the -1/3. I'll talk about that in a second, and then y to the -5/6. And then on bottom here, I still have this x to the 1 and the y to the 1. Alright, let's talk about that those fraction operations I did right there a second ago. So in this case, my first multiplication was -2/5 times 5/6. And when I do this multiplication, I multiply straight across. I can do cross canceling, so this 5 and 5 reduce down to a 1 and 1. I can cancel this factor of 2 between these two, and then what I'll get as a final result is -1 times 1 on top, and then 1 times 3 on the bottom to get my -1/3. And then I also had this -1 times 5/6, and I could write this as a -1/1 if I wanted to use the fractions rule, but anytime you multiply -1 by any number, all you're doing is just making that number negative, so I get -5/6. Alright, and the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the property of negative exponents on each of these three factors, and I'm going to move those factors into the denominator and make their exponents positive. So on top here, I'll just have this x to the 1, and in the denominator, what I'll have is an x to the 1, y to the 1, an x to the 1/3, and a y to the 5/6. And then what I'm going to do real quick here is, I'm going to cancel this common x to the 1 factor in both of the numerator and the denominator. And I'm also going to combine this y to the 1 and y to the 5/6. So what I have now is a 1 in the numerator, an x to the 1/3, and a y to the 11/6. And where this 11/6 came from again, what I'm doing is I'm adding this 1 and this 5/6. And so I'm turning the 1 into a 6/6 plus 5/6, adding the numerators, keeping the denominator. I get my 11/6. And this is my answer. Since I have no negative exponents anymore, and I've combined all my common bases, I am completely simplified.